Hey, what's up again, everybody? I'm going to be doing, I think, a lot more of these kind of commute vlog videos because it just seems like a really efficient use of my, nearly 1 hour commute both ways. These 2 hours a day seem like such wasted time that I figure I might as well try to be as efficient as possible and get out some of the thoughts that I have, whether it's about streaming, whether it's about content creation, whether it's about video games, Tarkov, music, whatever. Try to get it out here. So figure I'll do another video. This time I want to talk about my process creating YouTube video content, primarily highlight videos, because my workflow has enabled me to do something that I get asked probably every day, at least once a day, by other content creators. How am I able to put out, somewhere between 3 and 6 videos a week, and they're all fairly well edited, 10 minutes plus, and they all have kind of the best of the best highlights that I can cram in, while also streaming 40 plus hours a week, while also working a 40-hour a week job, while also, not completely ruining my marriage. So I wanted to share a couple of tips, tools, tricks, whatever, for my process to help you guys with your content creation workflow, and maybe it'll improve your situation, your setup. What I'll do is I'll throw in the top pinned comment different timestamp links so that you can fast forward to the different pieces that you'd want. So you can skip ahead, skip forward, whatever, if you want to come back to this later. But I'll talk through all of the things that help me on a day-to-day basis. So the first thing I want to start with, that I think is probably the biggest time saver for me, is I use OBS, Open Broadcast Software, for my stream. I used to just hit start record, and I would be recording my whole stream, and then the highlights I would end up cutting from the stream, which sometimes is 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 hours. That's a lot of footage to go through. It's almost a 1-to-1 ratio for the amount of video you have to go through to the amount of video that you've recorded. There's very little that you can skip over, especially when there's funny moments that happen in between games. Whether the wife comes in and scares me, or I'm playing a song while I'm waiting, or whatever. There's things I don't want to miss. So I was always stressed about skipping forward, skipping backwards. So it used to take me a very long time to edit my highlights. The biggest lifesaver that I ever discovered is OBS's feature called the Replay Buffer. Now I know like Shadowplay is essentially the same thing, and there are other tools you can get that will like record everything and put markers in a text file. None of that stuff I really care about. If you know about them, feel free to use them. Skip over this section. But for me, the Replay Buffer has been a godsend. So I'll put over here somewhere maybe like a thumbnail of where to find it in OBS. But essentially what the Replay Buffer does is it keeps the last N amount of time, N seconds. So for me, it's been anywhere from 30 seconds to 120 seconds, or 2 minutes. It keeps it in a buffer, basically in memory, where when you hit a hotkey, oh shit, that's what you get for recording while driving. Okay, so you're recording, and what happens is you hit a hotkey, and what that does is it takes whatever was in the buffer and it saves it to the same directory that your recordings would have gone to. But the benefit of that is that it's, if it's only the last 30 seconds or the last 2 minutes, what it's essentially doing is grabbing a full resolution, high quality clip. It's better than downloading it from Twitch after the fact, because Twitch will completely bork the quality of your content, especially, uploading it and then downloading it later. So the Replay Buffer has been invaluable for me. What that does is it condenses down a 10-hour stream into 50 highlights, something like that. Each one of them being somewhere between 3 minutes and 2 minutes. 30 seconds or 2 minutes. So then from there, the next step in my workflow has been to sort of prune my footage before I import it into my editing software, which I personally use Adobe Premiere. I use the Adobe suite for most of my stuff, whether it's thumbnails or videos or whatever. What I'll do is I'll go through and quickly watch all of the videos and then delete them locally if I have second thoughts about, you know, if it's not really that great of a clip, or maybe I accidentally hit the hotkey and it's just 30 seconds of you know, not interesting content or whatever. Go through and I'll do that with whatever my local, you know, Windows Media Player, VLC, whatever. So then once I have a day's worth of clips, I've now pruned it down. What I then do is categorize all the clips into folders. I have different folders for, you know, the simplest way of doing it is just by day, you know, May 1st, May 2nd, May 3rd, just throw them in there. And then whenever I get time to edit, I'll just pull whatever was the first in. I kind of do a first in, first out sort of editing situation for the most part. Although, if there are certain things that fall into like a theme, you know, maybe it's like me saying some funny, weird stuff out of context, or me playing guitar, or, you know, maybe it's me dying in an annoying way or something. I'll put that in its own folder, so then I can have sort of themed videos where it's like, this video is me, you know, bloopers. This video is me all playing guitar. So then later on, when I'm going to edit, all I need to do is clip off, you know, trim the fat from the beginning and the end of the clips, and my video's done. So I mean, I'm already saving myself hours and hours and hours of time just by using the replay buffer, by deleting, you know, either duplicate or you know, footage that I don't want to use, and then categorizing it into folders. So then the third piece of advice may or may not apply. You might have a super beefy PC, or you might be recording in lower quality than me. I happen to play and record at 4K, but I then downscale when I stream it to Twitch to like 960, which I might do a separate video on at some point later. But 4K video footage, that's a lot. I mean, every one of my 2-minute clips is basically 2 gigs. So a whole day's worth of footage, you're talking about over 100 gigs that is just sitting there with footage. Now the problem with that is that in Premiere, and I have a pretty decent streaming and editing PC. I think I have a Ryzen 2700X with a 1070 graphics card. I can't in real time scrub through the clips at full quality or quarter quality or even 1/8 quality. It actually ends up being like a slideshow for me. And I spend so much time hitting pause and waiting for it to kind of catch up, and before I can hit play and actually see what's going on. I can hear the audio fine, but I can't see what's going on. It's like a slideshow. So what I ended up discovering was using Proxies. Now, all a proxy is, to me, this was it seemed super complicated to me before. I did a bunch of research on it, but it's really simple. All a proxy is it essentially is a lower resolution copy. So what happens is you can go over in Adobe Premiere into your project, and if you can highlight all the videos, 1, 2, 10, however many videos you want, right click and you create proxies. And then what that does is it basically saves a copy, so you're still taking up more space, but it allows you to, when you're scrubbing through and editing, there's a little button that I can highlight, I can zoom in on and show over here. But when you enable proxies, what happens is when you're playing and editing, you're actually playing, previewing, and editing the proxy files. So then later on, when you go to export, all you do is uncheck the proxy button. When you go to export, it'll use the proxy clips essentially as like references to then export the full resolution files. So you don't have to wait for all of the time for the 4K to just kick in and for Premiere to just chugging along. It saves you so much time, so much effort, and so many headaches doing the proxies. Now, what I usually do is at the end of a stream, or at the beginning of me maybe deciding I want to edit a video, after I put everything into folders, typically what I'll do is at the end of the night, I'll drag all of those files into whatever folder, drag them into Premiere, and then I'll have the proxies, proxy kind of rendering process go overnight, so that I'm not sitting there using up my processor while I'm trying to game or while I'm trying to do other stuff. So that ends up being another big time saver for me. It's another 8 hours of essentially work that I can do without having to actually do work. And if you know me, I mean, right now I'm doing a fucking tutorial while I'm driving home from work. It's all about efficiency and trying to cram in as much as you can. So having your proxy files or your video files after you're done with them rendering overnight, just so that you can either edit them in the morning when you get up, or you can upload to YouTube right when you get up in the morning and have them ready for 8, 9 o'clock or whenever you upload your videos for the day, ends up being super, super valuable as well. So then from there, once you have all your clips and you're ready to start editing, I think probably the best feature that I discovered with Adobe Premiere, and I'm not like an expert with Adobe Premiere, I only know a couple of the things. I'm still a noob when it comes to all sorts of video editing stuff, but the biggest thing that I discovered that has saved me so much time are 2 hotkeys, Q and W. Now what Q and W do is, and again I'll try to put up a reference in the corner here so you're not just looking at my face. And all right, so what Q and W do is, wherever your playhead is while you're editing your footage, when you hit Q, what it will do is it will trim everything from the playhead back from that clip, and then ripple delete everything in your timeline over. So keep everything nice and close together so there's no gaps. And what W does is it's literally the opposite. So it'll take whatever is at the playhead and after, and it'll trim that off, and it'll ripple delete everything after that down. So the way that I would go through, if I have, let's say, 2 or 3 days worth of footage that I've already got proxies for, they've already been sitting in Premiere, ready to go, what I'll do is I'll just literally have all of the clips. It might be 2, 3, 4 hours of video footage, and what I'll do is I'll go through and, if in a 2-minute clip, I find that usually there's like a 30 or 40 second, sometimes less, interesting window that's kind of in the middle towards the end, right? Because usually what happens is I'll be walking around, nothing's going on. Something really interesting will happen. I'll get in a fight, I'll get an awesome kill, some amazing funny moment will happen, and then I'll say, wow, that was awesome. A couple seconds will go by, and then I'll hit my hotkey. So usually there's like 10 seconds at the end I want to clip off, and like a minute at the beginning I want to clip off. So my normal workflow is usually to watch the clip until it's like something's right about to happen. Usually try to leave a little bit of meat on the bone sort of before and after, but until something's about to happen, hit Q, it'll trim off the fat at the beginning, and then watch it until it's done. I'll kill the guy and maybe I'll loot the guy, and then I'm done, have some sort of reaction, I'll say some comment, and then I'll hit W and bang. I've now just snipped off all of the extraneous fat basically in that clip, and everything has been moved over. And I literally will do that for every single clip until I hit about the 10-minute mark, because I try to keep my my videos around 10 minutes. And it's not for not because you can't monetize your videos if they're less than 10 minutes. That's a misnomer. Feel free to Google it if you don't know why. But yeah, so usually until I get to about 10 minutes, and then what I'll do is I'll grab everything after that, shift it over, and start working on another one. So I'm able to do, if I've got 3, 4, 5 days worth of footage, I can sometimes make 7 highlight videos out of that, and then queue it all up to upload on a Monday and a Tuesday and a Thursday and a Friday and a Saturday. If I'm able to get a few hours at a time, which isn't very common unless it's maybe like a Saturday while the wife's working or something, that is invaluable time. And again, I'm saving myself so much by then being able to split up 5, 6, 7, 10-minute clips into essentially what's going to be constituent videos. So then all at once, while I'm done with that, I can then take my intro, put it at the bottom, copy it at the beginning of every single 10-minute chunk, do my outro. I can do my intro music, outro music all at once, copy paste everything over so that I can, if there's any music fade-ins or fade-outs, I only have to do it once and I'm copy pasting it over. That saves me so much time. And then usually at the end of the night, either at the end of a stream or right before I go to bed, I will queue them all up in the Adobe Media Encoder. So you can queue them all up individually. So now you've got 7 videos all sitting in a queue. By the time I wake up in the morning, I've got 7 videos that are all done. So again, those are some of the biggest things that saved me a ton of time. I have an Elgato Stream Deck that I use. You can actually see it because on most of my streams I have a hand cam, like a mouse keyboard cam. You can see me reach over, and whenever something interesting happens, I'll reach over and tap the button on the Stream Deck. Now, the button on the Stream Deck is mapped to, I think I have scroll lock on my Stream PC, and scroll lock on my Stream PC is what I have set up in OBS as the hotkey for the replay buffer. So that's how I actually don't know. There's been a bunch of updates to Stream Deck and OBS. There might be a way to like natively do that now. I don't know, but it's been working for me for almost a year now. Though one thing I forgot to mention too with the categorization is a lot of times, you know, if you put something in a folder and it's uncategorized, and then you do more recording and more recording, you'll end up with thousands of videos that you totally uncategorized in the one big folder. If you ever want to move them, if you're in the middle of editing them in Premiere, then it's going to say, oh, the media gone offline, we can't find it, and you have to link it afterwards. A major pain in the ass. So I always want to put my footage in a long-term kind of storage place that's out of the way, that won't change before I start editing, so that I won't run into those you know, media offline you know, disk directory issues that I know Premiere has, and I'm guessing probably most video editing software has. So if you guys have any ideas for ways that I could improve the process even more, if you have any questions about how to set this stuff up, or if you have any questions about any content creation stuff at all, feel free to leave a comment. I read every comment. You guys see I'm like hearting and liking every comment. I try to answer as many as I possibly can. I would love to help you guys. I'm going to be doing a lot more videos around content creation. So if you're a fan of Tarkov and not of this stuff, you're not interested in content creation, you're not interested in any of this stuff, feel free to skip it. I feel you. Nothing personal. I hear it. Don't worry about it. I want to start giving back to the content creation community, because there's been so many good videos that I've learned from that I want to, like I said, start giving back. So that's probably a good sign that I should stop recording now. I'm almost home anyway. Yeah, so again, hit me up anytime on Twitter, on Discord, on YouTube, on Twitch. I love you guys. See you later.